Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diving Deep with David OC, where we interview some of the riders, some of the athletes, some of the behind the scenes people who were involved in making Centurion boats the brand that it is today. And in this episode we're going to be talking to none other than Taylor McCullough. She's one of the best female wakeboarders in the world. She has an incredible story, going pro at an extremely young age, and today we're going to be diving deep with Taylor McCullough. Taylor McCullough, welcome to the Centurion podcast. How are things with you? How's your day going?
I'm good. Just getting up and getting my day started. It's still early in the morning over here for me. I just got back from vacation. I just got back from vacation, so it's getting back to real life.
And how's things in Florida? What sort of temperature are we talking at this time of year?
It's good. Right now, it was like, good question. I haven't even been outside this morning.
Really? So you don't even know. But is it like...
It's 63 degrees right now. So
okay,
it's not terrible, but it's definitely not warm.
Okay. Happy days. So for those of the people who may not know who you are, do you want to give us like a background to who Taylor McCullough is, how you got into wakeboarding and everything like that?
Yeah, I started wakeboarding. I started water skiing when I was like 2 or 3 years old. My family had a lake house up in Illinois, and then got a wakeboard for Christmas about a year later, and I've been wakeboarding since then. I turned pro when I was like 12 or 13,
Wow.
and then still been riding since then. I'm 22 now. I moved down to Orlando about 7 years ago to pursue wakeboarding, and been with Centurion for the last 3 years. I think I signed with them in 2017, 2018. So
okay,
yeah.
Unreal. So Santa Claus got you into wakeboarding. So you said you went pro at 12 or 13, which is exceptionally young. What was that like as a 13-year-old girl who maybe normally would be going to discos and things like that? You're shredding on the water.
It was great. Like, it was awesome. I got to travel so much when I was younger, and like still do, obviously, with wakeboarding, but there were definitely a lot of things that I missed when I was younger, like with my friends and school and everything else, which was kind of upsetting. But at the time I was sad about it. Now I'm like, look at everything else that I've been lucky enough to be able to do and be able to travel and go to. So it's like, it was like a 50-50 chance at that time, like what I was doing, but I'm very happy that I missed some of the things I did and was able to stick with wakeboarding.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like it's a lifestyle choice, the whole thing. It incorporates everything. And so you said you moved to Florida 7 years ago. What age were you then?
I was 15, getting ready to turn 16.
Wow. And did you go to school there? How did that work? Is it homeschooling or?
I started to go to school down here. I moved down here like June time in the summer, and I started school in August, and I absolutely hated it. I did not like the school that I went to. Obviously didn't know anyone, just moving down here, and like all the people I knew were wakeboarders and were in school. So after like a month, I decided that was not the school for me, and I did homeschooling for my senior year of high school.
Okay, so it's very different life. And then obviously, so that probably freed you up a whole lot more to wakeboard. And did you notice that your riding kind of accelerated in your progress at that point?
Yeah, it was like being able to spend 24/7 on a wakeboard helped so much. Like when I was younger, before I moved down to Florida, we'd come down almost every other weekend. I would ride at home during the summer, but couldn't ride during the winter, obviously. Yeah. So just the time being able to spend wakeboarding down here, like living down here in the first place and then doing homeschool, it changed so much.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And also like riding with no doubt people who you looked up to as like kind of a child, and like who were like, let's say, the biggest influences for you.
When I first moved down here, I lived with Corey and Brad Tunison, and we would ride all the time, and then moved over to Lake Holden a couple of years later, and I like just being able to ride with everyone down here is so crazy. Being able to ride with someone better than you, and it just like pushes you to want to learn new things. At home, I was riding by myself, and I had my dad who would push me, which was great. But at the same time, it's like, well, like I'm not having, not that you're not having fun with it, but like you're riding by yourself. You don't have those friends there to like push you and be like, hey, like let's ride, let's do
Yeah.
this, like you should try this. So
Having
that,
people better than you as well also is so good for progress.
yeah, just like seeing someone who's better than you and watching what they're doing helps so much because you have motivation to learn new things.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And then when you're living down here and you're riding the whole down here, I'm in Ireland. You're not living here, but in Florida, and you're riding with all these people. Did it, like, obviously you had a huge success for your competition side of things as well, because you started to do pretty well in contests too.
Yeah, just like being able to be on the board and ride all the time like gives you so much more confidence, and like you just are more comfortable on the board with like being at home during the winter up in Illinois. I'd come down and ride every other weekend for 2 or 3 days and then not ride for a week or two. So just that like repetition of being on the board every day and training all the time, it helps you tremendously.
Absolutely. And with the contest, so what would you say is like the highlight of your contest life? Like if you were to look back and be like, that moment was a good moment, what would you choose?
Definitely winning the overall series. I won the overall World Series in 2017, and that was probably one of my favorite moments in wakeboarding.
Big achievements. Yeah, I can only, like, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty ridiculous feeling. And then how have you found like wakeboarding as a female? Obviously, like coming from any sport in the women, sometimes it can be more difficult, but then the trade-off is maybe there's a little bit less competition. How have you found that competing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard one, like to think about. Girls, there definitely aren't as many, which is great. Not great. I wish there were more girls, but like competition wise, like there's not as the guys have 20, 30 people. We have 5, 10 girls competing. So it's like sometimes it makes it easier in contests, but the girls that are competing are at such a high level that there could be 2 or there could be 15 and it's a competition no matter what. So
Yeah, exactly. Whereas sometimes in the men, like it can be like somewhat easy-ish to make it to a final, but then you're at, whereas your starting point is that point almost.
yeah, it's like in the guys, I feel like you can find an easy way to a heat and like to the finals and stuff, but with the girls, like there's so many of us that are at the same level that it's like no matter what you do, you have a good competition. Like you have to do well and stand up your run and be able to perform your best. If you mess up, I mean, obviously like the guys are like that too, but if you mess up, you're not really making it. So
Yeah, it's kind of wakeboarding, isn't it? Like it's like if you fall, there kind of is no plan B. You just have to go with plan A almost.
yeah.
And so an interesting one, obviously, one of the things that everyone loves to see on like Instagram is dogs on the boat. And so I'm basically wondering, do you have a dog? What is his or her name? And does it go on the boat if you do?
I do have a dog. Her name is Skylar. Was just sitting at my door waiting to come in a minute ago.
No.
I have a yellow lab. She comes out on the boat pretty often. Like when I wakeboard, she doesn't come out, but we go out to the little island on our lake and she'll come and swim around and everything else. I used to take her out all the time when I was wakeboarding or wake surfing, but I was wake surfing once and my dad and a couple of my friends were out there and she jumped off the back of the boat towards me while I was wake
Oh,
surfing and
no.
like went through the rooster tail and everything. I was like, all right, well, we're gonna like not take you out while we're actually
Right,
riding,
just
but
in case.
if
Yeah,
we're just coming to hang out, you can come out.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so going into the 2021 season now and kind of even further afield, what would be your main goals like within the sport?
I just want to improve my riding for myself. Like obviously contests and everything at this point in time are up in the air and who knows what's going
Yeah,
to happen.
absolutely.
So just like improving my riding for myself and learning new things is my top goals at the moment.
Okay, and what about in life? What's the goal?
I am currently in school. I am hopefully getting ready to start nursing school. I have one test left before I can apply and then have 2 years in nursing and be doing that. So
All right.
got a lot on my plate at the moment.
How do you find balancing everything?
It's definitely been hard. I was taking 2 classes this fall, and obviously we didn't have a ton of competition, so it was like easier to focus on school.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a hard balance. Like before school, it sucks to say, like school always came so easy to me. I never really had to study,
Yeah.
and now I'm like getting into these harder classes, and I'm like, okay, like I don't know how to do this. I actually have to work towards it. So
Yeah.
it's this past semester was definitely a hard balance between wakeboarding and school, but I know nursing school isn't going to be easy, but hopefully we can have a good balance between the two of them.
Yeah. Well, wakeboarding probably in some ways with like discipline and like everything like that probably helps a little bit with the schooling as well.
For sure, yeah, like being able to, and like it's nice because wakeboard during the day, do school at night, but I try to do school in the day, and I'm like, oh, look at the lake, it's nice out, like let's go ride. I'm
Especially
like,
living in Florida. It's like always nice.
exactly. I have the lake in the backyard, and I'm sitting here on my computer trying to do school, and I'm like staring at the lake, and like my roommates will come home and be like, all right, we're going out on the lake. I'm not doing school right now. This isn't working.
Absolutely. And now, last question. So I'm going to write these all down on the board, and I'm going to come looking for you. So if you could pick one trick for 2021, if you could learn one new thing, what's the dream trick?
Gosh.
I don't have an answer for this for me, so I feel very hypocritical asking it, but
I learned a lot of tricks a couple of years ago, and I like had whirly, KGB, dum dum that I had just learned, and as soon as I learned them, I had surgery. And since then, I haven't gotten that. Like I've landed them since, but I don't have them consistent. And like
yeah,
being able to get those consistent and be able to put in my run would be
big
super
goal.
cool. My all-time dream trick, I really want to learn a KGB5.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. But I really want to get those other tricks consistent and have them back in my run and be able to land those consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the surgery? Was it on your shoulder, if I remember correctly?
Okay. Yep, I tore my right shoulder in 2017 and I had surgery, and then beginning of 2019 I tore my left shoulder, and I didn't realize it I realized it straight away, but I didn't want to
Did you not realize it?
I didn't want to believe it for a couple months, so I didn't do anything about it, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And so I finally was like, crap, okay, like let me go and like get it checked out, whatever. And they were like, yeah, you tore your labrum again, and also you tore your rotator cuff. And I was like, awesome, great, that sounds fantastic. So had surgery in the middle of the season in 2019 and ended that season short. Luckily, once they went into surgery, my rotator cuff wasn't torn. It was only my labrum, but still was a hard recovery. My right shoulder took about 4 months to recover, and my left one I wasn't really riding for like 8 months. So
Really?
it took a little bit longer, but.
And how's it feeling now?
It's great now. Like I have no issues. I mean, obviously with any surgery you have, like there's always that one time you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right. That feels weird. But riding and everything and in the gym, it feels good, fine. Like I don't have any issues. So I'm super happy with it.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I guess we'll end on that good note. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, best wishes on the season ahead. Hopefully we'll see that run with the dum-dum and everything in it. And maybe in a couple of years' time, or maybe even sooner, we'll see the KGB5.
That would be amazing. Hopefully we will just toss that one in there.
Yeah, the first female to land the KGB5, wouldn't you?
On boat. I think Anna's landed it on cable, but I don't think Anna's landed on boat yet. So yeah, hopefully that's the goal.
Yeah, that's insane. Well, you have to have a goal. Amazing, Taylor. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And there you have it. That is a little bit of an insight into Taylor McCullough, not only as a wakeboarder, but also as a human being. And she's a very diverse person, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing how she gets on in the 2021 season. And of course, Will she make the KGB5 happen in the near future? Only time will tell. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, then make sure to subscribe, follow us on all of the relevant social media, and of course make sure to check out Taylor McCullough's Instagram, where there she will keep you up to date with her new tricks, her travel, and of course her day-to-day life. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.